to get it off. Nathan says, that's dumb, okay, because they can't help anyways, especially since he's got subtractive magic. They are in way over their heads. They don't have any idea how to help you. Like,
cool.
none. Yeah.
Great.
Now, I may be able to help you, but they are fucking hopeless.
Yeah.
Which Nathan has to have planned for a day like this, right? He seems intelligent. He's obviously a prophet, so he could probably see that something like this is coming anyways. But the second this brand new opportunity walks into his, like, his giant-ass apartment, he's already got a plan to tell this person, you need me too.
Oh, yeah.
Now I have an in to the outside world. Like, this could work for me. Just baiting little hooks.
Yeah.
He's fucking smart.
Maybe he can get me a chick.
So he asks if Richard has read The Adventures of Bonnie Day. Richard says he has. Then he gushes about how he would love to meet the author and tell him how much he liked the book. Nathan says, you just have, my boy. And this is obviously a Terry Goodkind fantasy. Like, how could it not be? This is what he wanted to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not very organic. Like, if somebody asks you if you ever read a book, you don't usually jump straight to being like, oh my god, you know what I would tell the author? Like, usually you're like, yeah, I've read it, I like it, and you start talking, and then eventually maybe that comes up, but that's not usually the first thing out of your mouth.
Right, well, no. But I mean, if you were Terry, you couldn't just hand your book to somebody and be like, here, maybe you should check this one out, and then have that conversation like a week later. Only because I know for a fact his picture is in every book that I have of his. He with the long hair with his arms crossed and he's looking all badass and stuff. And be like, this is your book.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Terry is a little bit more used to people knowing. If you've read his books, you know his name. But
yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, if I met Terry, I would obviously probably say something along the same lines as what Richard does say.
We totally would.
But I'm just saying that normally that's not the first thing out of your mouth if someone's like, have you read this book? You're not like, if I met Terry, I would tell him how much I love it. Like, yeah, that may be true. And that may be something I would tell somebody I was talking to about these books, but that's not the first thing out of my fucking mouth. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's true. Feel strongly about that one.
Yeah, I don't know why I got so aggressive.
Okay.
You know what? I think maybe I need a beer.
Fantastic.
That might help.
What are you drinking tonight, JD?
I am drinking blueberry maple stout because it's fucking wintertime and I think this is a good winter beer.
It's a very, very good winter beer. We tried this one, I want to say for the first time, maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's been a staple stout.
Staple stout.
Staple stout. One you gotta have. Like, or if you don't have it on hand, you gotta try it at least once.
Which is funny because it is maple. And again, I'm not a big fan of the maple, but this is like, I don't drink this a lot, but like for a good winter stout, it's good and it makes you feel warm, just not all the time.
Warm and cozy like a big pile of flapjacks.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't want to be drowning in the syrup.
Right. Well, that's why it's balanced with the blueberry. I don't think either one of them really overpowers the other. I think it's a great flavor complement, and it's just fucking good, guys. It's really, really good.
The back of the beer describes the taste as like you crammed a fat stack of blueberry pancakes into a pint glass and smothered it with maple syrup. Channel your inner lumberjack because it's in for a real treat.
That reminds me of Pulp Fiction. Fantastic. There's just another level of appreciation that I have for this beer. All right, well, we are going to get a refill, and we will be back right after this. All right, we are back. That was a delicious beer. I am ready for more book now. So Richard is with Nathan in Nathan's quarters, and he starts just this list of questions. So what happens now is a long back and forth between Richard and Nathan, arguing, making different points, telling stories, and just et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot. So this is a bit condensed down, but I think we hit all the major points. Everything important is definitely here.
Yes.
Just wanted to make that note. So Nathan reveals that he was with Anne when she saw him as a baby, him being Richard, and helped George Cypher get the Book of Counted Shadows from the Wizard's Keep, and gave a copy of The Adventures of Bonnie Day to Richard.
Baby Richard!
The very copy that he had growing up and reading was from Nathan.
He had the book from the author. It was like a special book.
Yeah, and you didn't sign that shit? Come on!
At this point, it is revealed that Nathan is a Rawl. That's what the Huck gazes back and forth were for.
That was a little intense. Richard shared the same Huck-like glare, and they're just staring at each other, and they don't realize that, hey, you kind of look like me. We're making the same face at each other.
Hey, your eyebrows do this thing that my eyebrows do.
Look at your eyes twitching. Mine does that too.
And he is a great something or other to Richard. He's close to 1,000 years old and has seen Richard in prophecy for years. So he's super interested in Richard. On top of the fact that they're family, he's also got an outside interest just from academic point of view. Hey,
because
you're
of the
important.
prophecy he studies. Major factor.
Yeah, you're an important dude. So I've been keeping tabs. Nathan wrote The Adventures of Bonnie Day to be a sort of primer to prophecy. Yes, primer, not primer, to prophecy to those who had potential.
We asked Google, and primer is not even that.
No, it's not. Sorry, the guy on Audible says that the wrong way. And it bothered us.
Jade looked at me, and she's like, that's not how you say that, right? And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's primer.
It's primer, guys.
It's primer.
Richard says that this book helped him, and Nathan is super glad about that, because all the other books that they gave all the other boys that they gave these books to died.
Oh, holy shit. You don't say.
Yeah.
And you gave one to me, a child.
Yeah.
You asshole.
They handed these books out to everybody to teach them some lessons, and somehow they all had accidents except Richard.
Now, they were potential people, right? And Richard happens to be the actual guy. So there had to have been a time after they handed out the books and before they found Richard to where all these guys died, and Nathan was like, oh man, shit, I should not have done that.
Okay, so now you're saying, because
maybe he has enough foresight to know that means that the one will be found, but I guess
there
must have been a rough patch there.
When I was reading it, I was assuming that when he said we gave them to boys with potential, I was just thinking potential in general. Hey, they look like they could be bright stars in the magical community or whatever. Now I'm thinking that what you're saying is that they could have been potential parts of the prophecy. They were trying to give it to them because they could have been the one spoken about in the prophecy, and they weren't, so they died.
So, yeah, whatever happened and caused them to die, just that the people at the Palace of the Prophets wouldn't have had the same insight, right? Or, no, they would have, just that we know Richard is the one, because obviously the book is about him. Mm-hmm. But them, at that time, they didn't know who it was going to be. So in the meantime, why don't we give this extra little something to some star players and see what happens?
Okay.
And it just came to be that the only one was Richard.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Richard asks Nathan if there's anything he can do to help him, and Nathan responds by teaching Richard a lesson from Bonnie Day that he'd obviously missed. Don't get too caught up in the past. Richard has been so afraid of the pain from the collar that he didn't realize that he was able to fight back if they were to ever give him pain with the collar.
Right, give him reason to. And that's huge. We know that in the Tower of Perdition, he resisted fighting back against Verna for as long as he could.
Yeah.
And then eventually he was able to use the sword and break up that attack.
Zippity
what he
zap.
didn't realize is that shit is real, and he can do that. Even though that was a vision, that was all just for pretend. It's actually the way of things, and it's cool because it's his gift telling him what he needs to know, when he needs to know it.
Well, yeah, that was the gift and his mind, and probably his mind telling him because he'd read the book and he'd missed the the lessons from the book were probably like stirring in him at that point, but he wasn't able to see them clearly because he was so scared of the pain. So instead of latching onto the lesson like he should have, like he has in every other part of the book so far, he was distracted.
Right. Right. Nailed. Look, she's got her finger up and everything. She's like, I fucking got that one.
Got it.
So Nathan offers to teach Richard how to touch his Han. They sit crisscross applesauce, good and proper, touch palms, and look into each other's eyes.
Ooh.
Very lovingly.
He's gonna touch something.
I promise that does not happen. Richard feels the anger, Jade. Not that. It's anger. Inside of him without touching his sword. I just can't. When he lifts his other palm, he's holding a fireball, Jade.
He's
a fireball.
Some kind of ball.
It's a fireball. Wow. You're in rare form. I love it. So Nathan directs him to shoot it at the fire. Oh, wait. No. No, we lost her.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no. I'm not cutting a second of this.
Okay.
That was beautiful. I loved it. Nathan, you gonna go again?
Yeah.
Nathan directs him to shoot his fireball. I knew it. At the fireplace, and he does, confirming that he is a war wizard. War wizard. Fireball. Awesomeness.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really imagine, though? I'm bad enough with Nerf darts and airsoft guns. You know, I've been yelled at not to shoot stuff in the house, and it's like, okay. But I maintain, you can safely shoot a BB gun inside the house. If you have a designated target and, you know, some way of making sure they're not flying all over the place. But, like, he can shoot fireballs at his fireplace.
Why can't I shoot fireballs in the house, Jade?
I want to shoot fireballs.
You're not a war wizard. I'm sorry, hun.
I mean, okay, that's fine. But just how fucking cool. When you're bored, nothing is on Netflix, you're a little pissed off about that, you just throw a couple fireballs at your fireplace and, like, just burn that right off.
Yeah, I suppose it could come in handy.
Maybe I lost you. The laughing, and I've obviously put some time and thought into this.
Yeah. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
So he explains that war wizards, they don't necessarily need the rules of magic. They work on instinct, meaning that the sisters and all of their how-to instruction are pretty much useless.
Basically, Richard doesn't need to know shit about it because it's just going to happen when it needs to.
Yeah. He's still trying to throw fireballs, of course, because, I mean, who wouldn't? And he asks if it's wizard's fire. Nathan just chuckles, and he's like, dude, what you just did is to wizard's fire like an annoyed moth is to an enraged bull. Nowhere close.
Yeah.
Still, though, fireball. That's not nothing.
Yeah, no. Still pretty fucking cool. A lot more than he could do when he came.
I mean, if you just... You got me with that one.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, if you just came across a stranger on the street and they were like, hey, and then opened up their hand and fireball, that'd be pretty shocking. Guarantee you, highlight of your day.
I think Chris Angel has a special about that.
Maybe. I think I know how he does that, though. I don't think it's subtractive magic. Anyways.
So Nathan also explains that Richard won't be able to throw fireballs by himself without help until he fully accepts who and what he is. Self-love. God damn it, Richard. Self-love. And it would be about 100 years for the sisters to be able to teach him what he just learned in about 10 minutes with Nathan.
That's insane. They're just wasting time.
Yeah,
like
burning
a whole
it away.
Lot. Seriously, hundreds of years, and he's worried about getting back to Kaylin. And they're like, oh, no, it'll take a while. Like, how long? Is this like a 4-year course? How does this go? And they're like, no, we're talking like 300-400 years